Hi, it's Charlie McCann from Stan James, welcome to the preview of the Open Championship from St Andrews, which begins on Thursday week. Just a couple of churchy notices to start with. We're a quarter of the odds with immediate effect. The first 6 on the Open Championship, and will continue to be so until Tiger Woods tees off. Now, of course, Tiger, we have no idea yet. Here we are with 8 days to go before the great tournament. We have no idea if Tiger's going to get an early tee off or a late tee off, and of course if he goes late early, then a quarter of the odds first 6 with immediate effect until Tiger tees off on Thursday. Then of course we'll go back to a quarter of the odds first 5. Will also be do check out stanjames.com for all our concessions and offers during the Open Championship. 72 hole match bets, of course evens each of 2, and also if your player is beaten in a playoff, if your selection is beaten in a playoff, we will refund your losing stake as a free bet. Remember, of course, that would have been, say, Tom Watson last year, and probably should have been Lee Westwood. But there's only really one place to start with any, I think, preview of the Open Championship, certainly from St Andrews, and that is with the great man, with Tiger Woods. Of course, he's in 2000 Millennium, he won by 8 shots. In 2005, he won by 5 shots. He's both times, I think he shot 66, 67, and maybe 67, 66, 1, 3, 3. Of course, he's led more or less all the way against, I think, Monty, who finished second 5 years ago in 2005. Monty, of course, started well, but then I think a bogey on around about 11 sort of did for him. But Woods, remember, he didn't go through the bunker, and it's not really just power, it's course management. And then, but is the course management Woods of 2000 and indeed 2005 the same Tiger now? I wonder. At 4-1 with ourselves at stanjames.com, I'd look elsewhere, I must say. But again, he's supposed to have played in Ireland, played very poorly on the Monday and played well on the Tuesday. But at 4-1, and it wouldn't surprise me if he drifts with ourselves at stanjames.com, I'd look elsewhere, and if we are looking elsewhere, maybe that represents some value somewhere else. 14-1 Mickelson, fascinating. Mickelson never really competed, of course, 6 times, I think, runner-up in his own Open Championship, but never the British Open, and won the Masters, of course, and was competitive again at Pebble Beach last time. But this is the one, I think he really wants. I think thinks his game is suited to St Andrews. And again, a recent interview with Sean Boyce, who really was thinking that he's got an outstanding chance this year. And at 14-1, I think he is somebody, I think, let's forget what's his course record. This really should suit. He remains in excellent form. And Phil Mickelson at 14-1, it wouldn't surprise me if there's money for that. 16-1 Lee Westwood. Well, of course, there was an injury scare with Westwood. I followed him over cliffs, won't in future, I must say. And Westwood is also 16-1 with dual winner Harrington. I remember the second time Harrington won at Birkdale, he had a similar sort of preparation, and again, Harrington is bound to have his supporters at 16. Ernie Els, again, similarly former Open champion, of course, and a dual winner, of course, of the US Open. Always, I think, a threat, but again, I think at 16s I'd look to elsewhere, and that maybe one of my selections is Rory McIlroy. Again, looked as if he'd coming right back to his best in the French Open at the weekend. I think shot 66, 67 on the final round, and I think would have been a playoff if he'd hold from only around about 10 feet. As it turned out, of course, in Emanes went into the drink and shot and had a double bogey on the 72nd hole. But McIlroy really should have birdied that, and that, of course, he would have got him into a playoff. Well, McIlroy just seems to be a really good start to the year, then out of sorts, and I think McIlroy's game, a lot of people suggest, would be really suited to this. Whether he's got the experience to manage the course effectively, but my goodness, he is a talent. He would be one for me. Graham McDowell, of course, the US Open champion, was that wonderful to say, the first European to win in 40 years, and of course we haven't had a winner of the Open Championship since Paul Lawrie in 1999. I think it's about time we had a British winner of this. That said, my second selection is not going to be 20-1 Justin Rose. Justin Rose, of course, won the AT&T at the weekend and won twice in America in recent weeks, and he should have been. He had, I think, a 3 or 4 shot lead in another tournament. He could have won 3 out of 4. The hottest golfer on the planet, Justin Rose, 20-1. But my second selection is Martin Kaymer. Martin Kaymer, who was was leading for going into after 54 holes of the French Open, and was pretty tame final back 9. But again, he was another one who went into the drink during the back 9 on Sunday, and I just think Kaymer at 33 to 1. I think that time might be right for him to really compete in an Open Championship. 40 to 1 Ross Fisher, 40 to 1. Would you think we'd be saying that a number of years ago? Sergio Garcia, 40 to 1 for the Open Championship. But I'm afraid to say maybe Sergio has had his time, and those putting woes, they continue. But really, the 2010 Open Championship is all about Tiger Woods. Is this the Tiger? It's not the Tiger Woods. It's not the Tiger Woods of 2000. It's not the Tiger Woods of 2005. But you just remember he only finished 4th in Pebble Beach, so it's not as if his game is completely wide of the mark. And this course, we know. He was recently asked, you name your 4 favourite courses, and he said easy. St Andrews, St Andrews, St Andrews and St Andrews. Is it Tiger's year again? 4 to 1 with ourselves, and then we're a quarter the odds first 6 until Woods tees off on Thursday. Be lucky.